And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of FrontierLoanGroup.com, and I want to talk a little bit about reverse mortgages again, just to kind of get into that. As a lot of you know, I travel throughout Southern California. I go to a lot of different events. I give speeches and lectures, and I hold workshops on reverse mortgages. And I have told you guys many, many times that there's a lot of myths and misconceptions about reverse mortgages. And I didn't really quite realize how bad it is. But in the last couple weeks, I've gone to 2 street fairs, and I've had a booth at 2 street fairs. I went to the Strawberry Fest up in Vista, and I went to Escondido Street Fair. And I had so many people approach me and basically, kind of challenge me on what a reverse mortgage is and what the benefits are. And into talking to them, it's amazing what their perception of a reverse mortgage is and how it affects. The number one misconception that people have about reverse mortgages is that they lose title to their home, which is not true. And it's funny because I'll correct people and they go, "Are you sure?" Of course I'm sure. I know that you don't lose title to the house. But it's one of those things like that game, telephone, you play when you're a kid. And, somebody tells one, they've got 10 kids in a row, and one tells somebody, whispers something in the other ear, and by the time it gets down to the last kid, it's a completely different version of what's going on. That's kind of what happens with reverse mortgages, because everybody in the world thinks they know what a reverse mortgage is and how it works, and they all have their opinions based upon, I don't know what. Maybe their neighbor's an expert. It always amazes me when people rely so much on people that aren't necessarily in the industry for their information. It's like when everybody was, doing loan modifications. Well, my neighbor next door, he told me. Well, what does he do for a living? Oh, he's an accountant. Does he do loan modification? No, he doesn't. But he told you that this is the way it should be. Well, and he bases that upon what? It's one of those things where everybody's an expert and everybody's got an opinion. But, here's what I think about reverse mortgages. I honestly believe that in the right situations, they are an extremely valuable tool that seniors can use to make a difference in their life. I believe that with 100% sincerity. And one of the reasons why I talk about it so much on the show, and one of the reasons why I travel around and give lectures and workshops on it, is because I sincerely believe that seniors should not have to live the way they do. They are ingrained. A lot of seniors are ingrained with the fact that they cannot use their equity for anything, that they have to leave it to their children. And I meet seniors that are literally on such a fixed income that they cannot even afford to go out to eat or go to a movie or do anything like that in fear that it will screw up their budget. And I'm telling you, I have seen people who are house rich and cash poor, that basically they don't have enough money to pay for gas to go drive up and visit their grandchildren. But yet they're conditioned to say this is the way it has to be. Now, why do you work your whole life? Why are you working right now? Ask yourself that question as right now. I know you're driving or you're sitting at home. Ask yourself, why do you get up every single morning, work, and then go, do it again every day? You do it in hopes that you can have a good life and to set yourself up for your future so that you can retire and live a nice, fruitful, golden years. But that's not what happened, and it could be because poor financial planning, maybe investments went sour, maybe it wasn't a priority, whatever it is, that has gotten a lot of these seniors into this situation. The one thing that they have is a lot of them have equity in their house, and the reason I like reverse mortgages is because it is so flexible on how you can use it. There are ways that people can use it just as a safety mechanism. They can get a reverse mortgage, and instead of deferring the payment, they can make their payments every month. You can actually make a payment on a reverse mortgage. And so the reason why you say, why would you make a payment if you get a reverse mortgage? Because let's say you wanted to kind of control how much money you were deferring to your principal balance. But at the same time, you wanted a mechanism that if you had an emergency, you weren't going to go late on your mortgage. So let's say, for example, you get a reverse mortgage, you're paying for 18 months straight, and then all of a sudden you had a major illness and you needed a lot of money. Well, for those months that you need the money, you can just not make your mortgage payment that month. You don't have to worry about losing your house. And at that point in time, you could just do it. And when you get back into better shape, maybe your emergency's over, you can start making the payments again. So, and you've only deferred a small amount, so you could control it if you want. It's just a matter of how you utilize it. Now, with, as I was talking about in the second segment, the CFPB came out and basically about the advertising rules for reverse mortgages. So another thing I want to make clear, when I say that you can eliminate your mortgage payment in a reverse mortgage, that is the principal and interest portion. You are still responsible for your property taxes, your insurance, and any other ancillary charges. So I just want to state that for the record because, that is something that you need to know. That, your property taxes are not included in the reverse mortgage. Now, there's a way to set it up in the reverse mortgage to do it if you have enough room, but I wouldn't recommend it. Hopefully, the people who get it are responsible enough to make their property tax payments separate. And if you are, then you're fine. What the reverse mortgage does is eliminate your current mortgage payment, the principal and interest portion. So, like for example, yesterday someone called me, and their principal and interest portion of their their mortgage was $2,100 a month, $2,100 a month. So by getting a reverse mortgage, they are immediately deferring that to their principal and opening up their $2,100 into their disposable income every month. And see, here's the deal. Whether they make that mortgage payment by writing a check out of their fixed income every month, or they defer it, one way or another they have to pay it. It's just a matter of whether you want your quality of life in the present to be better. And this is a way that you can do that. Now, it's not right for everyone. I'm not saying it is. You might be out there going, oh, I don't like that, I don't need that. Well, you might not. But there are a lot of people who do. And people should not look down on it and say, oh, it's a terrible product, it's this and that. No, it's not. It's a tool that people can utilize to help elevate their quality of life. And I challenge any of you who believe otherwise to spend a week with me talking to the seniors that I talk to, and you can see what's going on in their life. And if you have alternative ways of figuring out how to increase their life, I'll be open to it. But it's very difficult for them because they are on such a fixed income. Most of them only have Social Security and small pensions, yet they have substantial equity in their home. And by doing so, it allows them to eliminate their mortgage payment, except for the property taxes and insurance, and it allows them the ability to sometimes receive payments to cash distributions to help supplement their monthly income, to allow them to do things that we all take for granted. We take it for granted that if we want to go to a movie, we could get up and go to a movie. We take it for granted that if we want to go out to dinner, we can go out to dinner. But you know what? We have to realize there are seniors who have worked their entire lives in their 70s and even 80s and late 60s that basically don't have that luxury. And that's a shame. Because otherwise, what are you going to do? Just sit in your house? You're a prisoner of your home? You're just sitting there waiting to die? I mean, that's no way to live your life. That's no way to, especially the end of your life where it's supposed to be your golden years, where you're having a great time. It's not supposed to be sitting in your house, worried if you could afford the cable bill next month. Any adjustment to any of your bill causes you catastrophe. That's no way to live your life when you're young. When you're older. That's it. It's no way to live your life when you're young either. But when you're older, especially because most of them are on fixed income and don't have the ability to make more money. So, think about that. Let's say the cable bill they raise the cable bill $20. To you and I, it's, oh, bro, that's terrible. To them, it can be literally, it could just smash their budget. So, the reason I kind of go off on this little tangent is just I want people to keep open minds about the value and the utility of reverse mortgages. I firmly believe in them, or I wouldn't do them. I believe that they can make a difference in people's life, or I wouldn't do them. I'm all about karma. I'm all about giving and hoping that it comes back to me. That's what I'm about. So I would not do it if it was a terrible thing. And that's why anybody who gets a reverse mortgage with me, I explain everything to them. I'm very transparent. I explain every nut, every bolt, everything, how that thing works. In fact, I won't even let you get one unless I'm 100% sure that you know what you're getting into. And that's not even including the independent HUD counseling that you have to take. That's just my own personal conviction that you have to understand what you're getting. But do I believe in them? Absolutely I do. In the right situations, they're a godsend. Now, as I mentioned, they're not right for everyone, but for those that are, they are incredible. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening tonight. It's been a very interesting show, talking about, everything from Memorial Day to Normandy Beach to Pearl Harbor to the CFPB to the unfortunate gun shooting at UCLA. I just want to thank everyone for listening, and as always, I shall be back next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. talking about anything and everything related to real estate. And probably next week I'll stick to talking about real estate and loans. So anyway, thank you for listening. You're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer.